out of a gun and makes exploding noise, really mega noise. But now you are holding that empty cartridge and say, Lakshman, look at this. Pray, bow down to this cartridge because it made a tremendous thundering noise when it happened. But so what?
It's gone.
It's gone, it's gone. Now, first generation, when Buddha came into enlightenment and gave the sermon, people who actually listened to him got impressed. They had a first experience of the enlightened person because every single word that was coming out of him was dipped in the huge pool of real consciousness, enlightened self. Every word that was coming out was the enlightened word. And there was power in it. There was energy in it. They felt it. And obviously, once you feel it, you want it to continue. So they will tell the next generations that you better follow this advice of this enlightened soul that I had listened to. The next generation might still believe it because the father says that, the son will follow. The son will follow because he believes that whatever my father saw must be correct. So, but he doesn't have as much faith in those words as his father did, because being there when the bang took place is different than description. When I am in a rainforest, when I listen to a bird and I hear a beautiful bird call, or I see a beautiful bird of paradise dancing in front of me, and then I show you the picture and I make it worse. I try to make a sound like a bird to you. What does that mean to you? Nothing. When I try to whistle like Deepak, I'm nothing. Deepak's whistle is Deepak's whistle. Right? So there is nothing like actual thing. When I try to copy and when I try to put in the words, your words are going to be the same as the words that actually came out. So real bang is waiting to happen within you. And that's what we are here on this earth for. The nature, the consciousness has not given up. Is not given up. Every single human being is created with that purpose so that another bang can take place. And that's our job, to worship the possibility which exists within us and not get carried away by all these lines which are left on the sand by the snake. The snake, cobra, had passed through, and now it has left all these markings on the sand. We keep worshipping it. Aren't we wasting time and our precious, little time that we have on this face of earth? To waste our time on all these rituals, and we are bogged by all these artificial things that we are told to believe, So the time has come to really come out of all these things and realize where the true consciousness, true energy, true interface between matter and spirit lies. It's within. So that's where true dharma, true religion is springing out from. Because you go deep within, and what happens? You find yourself, when you become thoughtless, your deep, deep beliefs still exist. Even if somebody wakes you up in the middle of the night, you're always going to be a male. The maleness is always there, at least for this life. But Mahavir and Buddha tried to win over that also, which was very deep. And that's why they wanted to walk away. They did not accept females in their congregations, because they wanted to win over their maleness also, because females will always remind them that they are males, which is very high and very subtle. It's very difficult for us to imagine even. But I'm just talking about it. All those deep, your beliefs about yourself is where the interactions and those notions have to be dropped at some point and then merge with the consciousness. So we have to go beyond the material.
I don't think really Mahavir and Buddha personally, they
stayed away from the females?
They did.
Not them.
They did.
Their followers.
No.
Not them.
No, Buddha himself would not give diksha to the females in the beginning. And then this is what Rajneesh told me. I don't have first-hand experience, but this is what he says, that in the beginning the females were not allowed. Now, the issue was that why females are attracted more to the males who have enlightened themselves, right? So the females have a natural attraction for the males, and especially for the males who have, rescinded or renounced their desires. For females, that is a positive attribute, and it's a natural attraction. That's why Krishna had 18,000, gopis, right? But Buddha would not give a diksha to the females, and in the beginning, and then until now, whenever a female is attracted to the males, there's a natural physical attraction even at the mind level. But at the spiritual level, when you really want to reach Buddhatva, now when you are attracted to Buddha is one thing, but when your desire is Buddhatva, that's your ultimate desire for the moksh, that's the way he would accept. So until there was one female out of congregation of 500 females, one of the female got up and she says that, does that mean that we will never be able to reach Buddhatva? So that question shook him, and from that point onward he started accepting. But in the beginning he did not, but then he accepted females.
Ideally, basically, when you are going up and up and up,
Right.
nothing should be influencing you. No female's attraction forces
Should not be.
should be moving you.
Agree.
Doesn't matter.
So maybe
you
he was
have to
still
be- exactly.
Agree. So maybe in the beginning he was not at that highest level yet, even after he reached to his Buddhitva. Because they said that even when he died, he was still evolving.
Mahavira's first 36,000 of his followers, then half of them they were women's.
Right.
Mahavir.
Yeah.
Right. So again, when
So Mahavir was a little bit ahead of Buddha.
well, you can't really say
mean,
that.
cannot
There
say
is
that.
nothing like that.
Different.
Yeah.
Different.
There is nothing like ahead or anything like that.
Yeah.
But according to Mahavir, he would not have any contact with females himself, though.
Yeah.
He might have accepted them as but he would not have any contact. But Krishna, look at Krishna. Krishna has a ras with gopis,
Right.
and yet, Krishna has evolved in his own way
Right.
to the enlightened state. So
Right.
you can't really
That's
judge
how
what.
it's supposed to be. That
Right.
That you are no matter with so
Exactly.
many men or women, but you are you.
Women are
You
trouble now,
not
they were trouble
influenced
before,
by-
now you're troubling us.
Exactly.
So the thing is that, but the interpretation of each thing is done in a material way, and that's where the problems start. So under the Jainism, the females are disfavored for thousands of years because of this, because Mahavir would shy away from females because he was beyond everything.
I thought Jainism, they say Mahavir had
Accepted
50%.
them as
Equals.
Equals, yes, but still the truth is, right now, the Jains believe that females cannot reach moksha in female
Form.
stage.
Ah.
They have to be born as males.
And then,
Then only they can reach moksha.
or yeah.
Even right now,
Yeah.
if there is a female sadhu, sadhvi, she has to bow down to the newest edition of a male sadhu. If he walks in, she has to bow down.
Ah, I see.
So, but these are all wrong interpretations
Right.
of original Mahavir theories.
Right.
So
Right.
they never understood Mahavir, and that's why we have this discussion that we should not try to become a Jain. We should try to become a Jina.
Yeah. It probably has a cultural background, because traditionally all along, because of the male supreme
Exactly.
theory, they used to keep the female behind.
Right.
They would not educate them. So
True.
then it led to the point where they say, well, women are always ignorant, less intelligent than men, and that's why they cannot reach.
Well,
So, and that's the
we're gonna go into more discussion of that because I've been listening to the same kind of discussions earlier, And it's very, very beautiful, and I'll come to that again, but let me in a short form. This is what happens, and it's beautiful how Rajneesh puts it. He's saying that the ego has a major role in this situation. Now, staying in sansar, right, you're going to experience love for a female, but love and ego are contradictory. Because whenever, in a true form, whenever you want to love someone, your ego has to drop.
Right.
Because as soon as you love someone, your own personal good is less important than someone else's good. So for your own good, you're going to drop your ego so in the benefit of some other person. Now, some people whose ego is at a very high level, they find it very difficult to love someone. Now, when they cannot love someone, to exist in the society without love becomes very difficult because there are so many interactions, because ego interacts at every single level. So these are the people who finds it easy to turn into religions. And they walk into the religions where there is a facility to say that sansar is no good. Females are no good. Females are entrance to the hell. Hinduism says, Stri nark ka dwar hai. Right? It's easy for them to say that because now they are segregating themselves from the sansar where their ego was at the fullest. Now they find themselves in a situation where they can walk away from females in front of 1,000 people of the audience who are still involved with the females, which they cannot give up. So whoever has given up the contact with the females are worshipped, because whatever I cannot do, if somebody is doing it, he becomes an object of worship. So I worship to these sadhus and mahatmas who have been able to walk away from sansar and from their practicing brahmacharya. So now I'm worshipping them. So now they put in your head, even though you are sansari, that yes, you live as a sansari, but it's not good. So you should be like me. Now look at this. Whole artificiality has started. Now, whenever you want to interact with the females, they have put it in your head that females are the cause of trouble on the way to the samadhi, right? Right. So now you are enjoying on one hand your contact with the females, but at the same time their preaching is constantly banging in your head that it's not good.
It's not good.
So it's like telling the kid who is enjoying the lollipop, at the same time the lollipop is bad for you, so your half of the enjoyment is gone already.
Particularly
right?
if you are diabetic.
So now you are not enjoying what you're doing, at the same time you cannot give up. So there is a dichotomy. There is a split personality created. So now your mind has two compartments. And they thrive on creating this duality in your mind. The duality is sansar. Duality is suffering. On one hand you want it, on the other hand you cannot have it. You can have it, but you're having it with suffering
Guilt.
attached to the guilt feeling. So there is a dichotomy created, and they're successful. They thrive on this dichotomy. So they say that the only way to come out of it is just give up the sansar. Little by little, just come out of it. So that's how they thrive. And the business of sansar going on. Now, they themselves are not happy either, because there is a natural desire for a female,
Right.
but now they cannot have
They're
it.
suppressing their natural
Right, and
nature.
the bead of 1,000, 10,000 followers are saying that you better stay away because we are already
Counting on
sinning, we are already suffering, but you cannot because you are our role model.
Right.
Now, he definitely cannot have any contact,
Right.
but his mind is constantly desiring. Now, whenever he goes into meditation, the only thing he's seeing is apsaras. And look at the names of apsara. Urvashi. What does that mean? Ur means your heart, Vasi.
Vasi.
So even the apsaras are named that way.
Right.
And then he picturizes, he has created artificial image of Indra. Indra doesn't exist,
Right.
but Indra has sent this apsara for me. These are all deluded minds which are creating all these imaginary scenes. Then he comes out and sends and it gives these preachings to you that there is Indra, there is Apsaras, then all these things are going to be hindrance, but you have to fight for it, and you have to go beyond that, this and that and all that. When you do fasting, what do? You always think of the food. And the best possible. Right? Chicken, puri and basudi. Why not? If you have to think, might as well think of the best.
Only initially.
Well, maybe.
Once you see, when you're in a transition phase, that is true. But when you are doing on a regular basis,
right,
that's not the factor.
That's not the factor. But at the same time, your natural inclinations never stop.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
I mean,
they stay hidden.
It's the nature of a person to eat.
To be eat, exactly. That's how we're supposed to eat.
That's a fundamental nature.
Right.
Eat, right?
So,
survival.
Killing the natural instincts harms you in the long run anyway.
Right.
Because nothing for nothing, the ego starts building that I could do this.
Right.
And that way also you get hurt. Right? So the same way sexual desires also can be suppressed, but at the cost that I can do this and you cannot. Right? So at every single level there is a suffering. And whenever there is a suppression of natural desires, there is always going to be suffering. The sansar is suffering because there is a guilt. The sadhu is suffering, but all these things are totally unnecessary. Whenever you can sublimate the whole thing and go with the flow of the nature, right? So that's where the whole discussion went because of that, right? So duality is the problem, and non-dual state is the ultimate connection with the consciousness. Because consciousness does not differentiate between male and female. So total acceptance of the consciousness as it is the way to go. But most of the religions have been able to do nothing but that, creating duality in one form or the other. Hinduism says don't do this. Swaminarayan says that, segregate this and that. Sadhus cannot see females, cannot do this, cannot do that. And out of all those things, whatever suits us, we pick it up. Now, this kind of sadhus will always have followers, because if you realize what I said in the beginning was, these are the people who have the highest egos. That's why they were having hard time loving someone. So they are walked away. But there are various degrees of egos functioning in the societies. So yes, my ego may not be that heavy, but my ego is still to some extent there, and I'm also having problem finding proper object of love in my life. I cannot love certain people, so I'll find it easy to follow these people and make sense. Yes, so sansar is bad. So these kind of people will have thousands of followers. So every follower that is following these kind of sadhus, they will have a different purpose, why they are following him, right? So one is escaping from the sansar, another, his ego is almost matching to him. It's just that ego has not been able to take a jump into the total, sadhuism or moksha, or the diksha and all that. But at least I believe that. So everybody is following with their own purpose and agenda. And it's like one big congregation going on practicing their egos at different levels, right? Now, also, the guilt that I have created in my mind, that whatever he believes, whatever he says is true, that this thing is a gateway to hell, so I better do something about it. And then I teach my children to do the same thing. So I create another followership along with that. That is murta. We never analyze the whole thing in its proper way. And then the whole procession starts. The first generation which actually came in contact with Mahavir and Buddha had almost a divine experience. But then he tells his son tells him. Now, whenever it comes to the third or fourth or fifth generation, what difference does it make? The kid today will have more of a pleasure bowing down to a statue of a baseball player, because he has seen him performing divine tasks, throwing home runs after home runs, superhuman feats. It will be easier for him to bow down to them rather than the statue of Mahavir. What kind of pleasure is he going to get? So that's why these kind of idol worships, rituals, and all this ritualistic behavior is generating a false vision of a dharma. That's what we have to be aware of.
इंडिया में सचिन तेंदुलकर को लोग भगवान मानते हैं.
किसको?
सचिन तेंदुलकर.
वही तो ना. That's what I'm saying. He's performing superhuman tasks.
Oh.
And that's as close as they're gonna get.
But is it not a parental responsibility to divert their kids
Correct.
into the...
It is if they have their own awareness super crystallized. If they themselves are confused, that's what we just said.
To the sports, whatever it is it due to their parental?
No. It has nothing to do with parents.
But the
Society.
No.
parent has
No, it has everything to do with the personal experience. If you go and attend the baseball game and Derek Jeter is playing at his best, that's your personal experience. That, alright, this is something I cannot do and he's doing it. Now, no matter how many times parents will come and say that, oh, you have to bow down to Mahavir or Buddha, they're not going to listen because they have seen it. But the parents themselves have not seen it either. They have not experienced.
That's what I said. It has to start from the parents.
Exactly. That's why we're talking about that. Everybody has to wake up and
I think
feel.
both things are wrong. To really
Absolutely.
bow down to Derek Jeter and bow
Or
down
Mahavir
to
is wrong.
Buddha and
Exactly.
Mahavir,
Statue
both
of Mahavir.
things are wrong.
Exactly. So that's why I say we should not be a Jain or a Muslim or a Christian. We should be Mahavir, Muhammad, or Christ himself.
Because they were not Jain or Christian.
They were not Jain, Krishna or Buddhist either.
Is it possible this for?
That's the point.
Everything
There's
is
no such
possible.
thing as religion. That's what we started.
फिर
Like,
तो
you
कोई
guys
स्टैचू
came
का
late.
पूजा करना ही बंद कर देंगे.
That's fine.
That's
for
wrong with
different
that, as
reasons.
long as you understand
You
why
can
you
you
should
can
not
bow
do
down
it.
to. There is nothing wrong in bowing down to the statue as
OMG.
long as at the bow level
OMG.
OMG.
Ah,
you have to believe
बोलता
that
ना.
you're bowing down to the higher consciousness, not to the statue. Statue is not God, and that's why most of the people stop at that level.
Yeah, like Ganpati.
Exactly.
Oh my
right.
God.
Statue is a reminder.
That's
Right.
the concentration.
But
It's
in
a
that
totally
way,
different
in
reason.
that way, good thing that we are going that direction. It's not wrong.
If you're going that
If
direction.
you're going
If
that
you're
direction.
going that direction. What if you're not going that direction?
But look
It
at
will ultimately go.
we hope,
we hope.
but the
Ultimately
religions
go, right?
no. But the religions have been around for how many years now? 5,000, 10,000 years. What have we created? Have we created a religious society here?
We created more walls.
We have created what we call communities. There is a Jain community, there is a Christian community, there is a Hindu community, there is a Muslim. These are nothing but communities. Communities are people with the same belief, and that's it. That's all it stands for. Is there any religion going on there? Is there any happiness? Is there any peace in
We
people's
created
mind?
more walls
No.
than.
And I mean, I am Jain, but I know like not even 1% of Jainism. You are Hindu or believe in Krishna, but you don't know even 1% of Krishna. But we are just born in that community, so that's why that's what you are. But you don't know anything about it.
We are at the very bottom level.
Right.
We are at the very bottom level. What the whole community is doing, seeing each other, donating for this, donating for that, bowing down to this, doing this puja, this and that's enough. We are never rising higher than that, because true dharma is the merging of a droplet with the whole ocean. There is an ocean of infinite consciousness present in the whole wide universe. And the true dharma is the union between the droplet and the ocean, not between an individual soul with the religious communities. That is nothing but a waste, a wasteful exercise. But true connection has to be between you and the higher self. That's the only true religion. That's what I call religion. The rest is all futile exercise, waste of time, money, efforts, and nothing but practicing your ego.